Charles Alexander. You feeling good? Got the fresh cut? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So I wanted to talk to you about, one of the big issues of our time and here in our area is violence. And of course, that affects our kids the most. What effect do you think violence has on their mental state?
Well, right off the bat, you have an increase in anxiety, sadness, depression, fear. Some of the things I believe that people don't immediately consider is that you start to constrict the environment. You got to stay in. You can't go over on that block. So their ability to move around shrinks too. So there's less exposure to all kind of stuff. There's fewer friends, fewer trips to this, fewer trips to that.
Less mobility.
Less mobility, less contact. So kind of constricts.
When we're talking about mental health as Black people, it's not talked about a lot. Why do you think that stigma is there?
A lot of it has to do with just people not really understanding mental illness. But we tend to think of mental illness as the opposite of being godly or faithful.
So what can we do? How do we fight that stigma?
You have to start with creating spaces where we can have these conversations. If you're a person who has a mental illness or you're attached to a person that has a mental illness, you can never learn too much about it because the science is always changing. And so that's one of the issues with stigma is that oftentimes we don't seek care because we don't want to draw attention to the fact that we have a mental illness. And so we're shamed.
Well, what about parents? What should they be doing?
I might check with the school to see if they're seeing the same types of things in school, or am I just seeing this at home? There's a lot that can happen when that child is not with you. And so you have to have a lot of eyes. But it really does start with just knowing your child's habits, and you're paying attention to some of those, just those regular day-to-day habits. He or she is eating more, they're sleeping more, or less, or what have you. Everybody doesn't need a psychiatrist, everybody doesn't need a psychologist, social workers, on and on. But everybody needs access to the information so that they can, we can make the decisions that are appropriate for this kid.
Well, Dr. Charles Alexander, thank you so much. A lot of helpful information.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks, man.